I wanted to expand my advertising portfolio into the fitness industry, and with this spec ad for the Force USA folding bench, I set out to highlight the bench's versatility and practicality in a real-world setting. The core message that I based this ad on was turn your home into a gym, and in this video, I'll dive into how I approach bringing this concept to life. I began by experimenting with ideas for creating some sort of visual transformation that would emphasize the repurposing of the home for exercise. Eventually, I came up with the idea of a smooth transition from a warm, sunset living room to a dedicated dark gym environment that would show how the bench transforms the space and enables intense workouts right at home. On Instagram, I came across a really nice lighting setup from Colorado Gaffer. Their setup created a dramatic, blacked out look that beautifully highlighted the subject and the metallic steel of the gym equipment in the ad. I took inspiration from this and I wanted to combine this striking visual style with my own smooth transition idea for my ad. And so I started by creating a mood board and then storyboarding in Photoshop. This allowed me to visualize how each scene would look, feel, and flow. Storyboarding was crucial for planning the more challenging shots of the ad, whilst providing an idea of how I'd be integrating the Force USA branding throughout. This time around, I tested a program called Affine to organize these various pre-production components. It's similar to a tool that I had used in the past called Miro, but it offers a more generous free cloud storage plan. While it has its pros and cons, it worked well enough to consolidate my research and visuals, providing a quick and accessible reference point during the shoot. The first production challenge was recreating this blacked out lighting look in my living room. Without access to high-end equipment or a large space, I had to get creative. After looking into different solutions, I discovered that these reusable heavy-duty black table covers from Kmart here in Australia offer an accessible and affordable way to block sunlight. Each table cover cost just $3, and with 4 of them, I managed to cover the large windows in the living room. I attached the table covers to the window frames simply with masking tape, which worked well for temporarily blocking light for the shoot without damaging paint. However, I noticed the light was bouncing from the overhead light off the floor and onto the back wall, so I added a makeshift black backdrop behind the subject using more table covers and a large piece of black fabric that I had lying around. Altogether, this light blocking setup had the most impact in creating the desired blacked out look. I then further enhanced this blackout effect in post-production using DaVinci Resolve. By applying power windows and creating vignettes, I darkened any remaining light spill, creating a relatively seamless, dramatic look in a small space. For subject lighting, I used the Godox VL150 with a softbox and grid mounted overhead to create a focused but still visually pleasing spotlight. And in some shots, I added an IKEA floor lamp at the back as an edge light for a subtle golden tone. Though positioning the lamp was tricky to avoid showing the harsh direct light bulb in frame, but where possible it added warmth and reflected nicely off the dumbbell's metal surface. Another challenge was achieving the smooth transition between the warm, sunset living room and the blacked out gym environment. To create this effect, I first filmed the bench in place within the living room, then I rearranged the room for the blacked out lighting setup whilst keeping the bench in exactly the same spot. Maintaining the bench in the exact same position took care, but this consistency allowed me later to use across the solve in post-production, making it appear as though the room transformed around the bench. I also used the same technique for the end of the ad, transitioning back to the sunset lit living room as the workout ended. This helped to reinforce the idea that a transformation had occurred in the home space, further emphasizing the core message that I aimed to convey. Once I had a plan for the transitional shots and the blacked out lighting setup, production flowed smoothly. My focus then shifted to ensuring the shots felt authentic, connected well with each other, and naturally integrated the Force USA branding. Having access to using both the branded folding bench and weights from Force USA helped to provide more visual opportunities for shots that would maintain a consistent brand presence throughout the ad. Lastly, to enhance the realism of the ad, I also recorded sound effects. After filming was done, I placed a microphone nearby, recreated the movements, and captured the subtle sounds of the bench and weights, adding depth to the ad. Looking back, there are a few areas that I could have refined, but overall, I'm proud of how the ad turned out. I think it effectively showcases the Force USA folding bench in a real-world setting, illustrating how it can turn the home into a gym-like space for intense workouts. It also highlights the convenience of this bench, folding down neatly after use to leave a clean, uncluttered room. I hope this behind the scenes breakdown helped inspire some ideas for some of your own productions, especially for those also working on growing their portfolio. And if it did, I'd love to hear from you down below. Alright guys, thank you. I'll see you in the next one.